Good Good morning, kids. Oh my gosh. Excuse me. Happy Monday. Hopefully you had a good weekend. Today this is up on the board for you to write in your binder reminder. So don't forget to do that. But today, you're gonna read and annotate. It's basically a review of what we've done in the first two chapters of Islam, so understanding Islam, reading, and then you have some questions that are posted to your Google Classroom. Your homework tonight is to finish the chapter 8 ISN. Hopefully you're keeping up on that. Remember, this is one of the first assignments going in to the new trimester, and we want to start on the right foot, please. The rest of this week, we see each other Monday and Thursday. Remember, Wednesday, maybe I should add no school here, okay? You don't have school because it's Veterans Day. And we'll talk more. You know how I like to talk about why we don't have school. So we'll do that. We'll talk about that on Thursday, why we didn't have school. Yes, so this is the week. Hopefully you're writing down in your binder reminder. Let me give you on this day in history today. And then you'll be on your way with what you're doing. I'll show you what you're doing in just a second. So on this day in history, the Nazis launched Kristallnacht in 1938. Now, World War II doesn't start until 1939, but this is kind of a catalyst and it's a way we kind of see, it's a foreshadowing moment of what's about to happen with the Holocaust and World War II. So the Nazis launched a campaign of terror against the Jewish people and their homes and businesses in Germany and Austria. So as you can see in these pictures, essentially what they do is just go at the Jewish houses and businesses. And for some reason, I don't know. I don't think it's like this. I don't know a lot of Jewish people, and we don't live in an area that has a lot of Jewish people. But at this time, like, people knew who the Jewish people were, and so it would have been really easy to identify their businesses and homes. I don't know why, but that's just something that happened during this time. So this was an event, again, that would foreshadow the Holocaust, and it was a drastic escalation by the campaign of Hitler. Hitler had been in power for a couple years at this point. Remember, I've told you this, and it's weird, but he gained power legally, which is also very crazy for the time. And what he's going to do is use the Jewish people as what we call a scapegoat, and he's going to just choose to blame a lot of things on the Jewish people that they had no control over. So the violence would continue through to November 10th. And it would be called Kristallnacht or the Night of Broken Glass. I've also heard it called the Night of Long Knives. So it left 100 Jews dead, 7,500 Jewish businesses damaged, which is a ton, and hundreds of synagogues, homes, schools, and graveyards vandalized. And if you remember last week when we talked about when we compared religions, we learned that Jewish people worship in a synagogue. An estimated 30,000 Jewish men were arrested, and many were sent to concentration camps for several months. Now, these would have been a precursor to the crazy concentration camps we eventually come to know during the Holocaust. And then the Nazis used the murder of a German diplomat by a Polish Jew as their excuse to carry out the attacks of Kristallnacht. Now, something important to note about this about this German diplomat is he was a really low-level diplomat, and they really just wanted an excuse to get to use some violence against a group of people that they didn't like. The Nazis blamed the Jews and fined them 1 billion marks, which is the German form of currency. And over 100,000 Jewish people fled Germany for other countries after Kristallnacht. So a lot of German Jewish people that were German were like, we got to get out of here. And remember, I talked about last week too, there are people who are ethnically Jewish and religiously Jewish, so it's a very convoluted thing. One notable person who fled after this or right around this time is Albert Einstein, and he comes to the United States. So there you go, Kristallnacht, 1938. You'll learn more about this in, I your sophomore year of high school. So today, what you're doing, you want to have annotating tools out. You are going to read this 2-page article. Okay, remember it is in columns. So you read one side first and then go on to the other side. And it just breaks down seriously everything, the things that we've studied so far. It's a review because remember on Thursday, we're going to start your pilgrimage board games. And so you need to have an idea of what you're going to do on your board game because you need to know where your pilgrimage is going to go, right? We know of the important cities and places. You need to know, like, people are going to go to the Kaaba, people are going to go to Mecca, right? You also need to have a good idea of kind of the geography and what was happening in the region because you're going to have problem spots in your board game. You know what this means because hopefully you've all played a board game before and you know that bad things can happen when you land on certain pieces of your board game. For some reason, what comes to mind first is like Chutes and Ladders, right? I don't know if you guys have played that one, but you always want to you don't want to have to go backwards, right? You want to go forward and get down a chute or a ladder so that you get down the board game faster, right? Or I also think of Candyland, but I haven't played Candyland in a long time, so I don't even remember what that board game is, what the bad spots are on that board game. We'll play your board games too, which I'm really excited about. Have a ton of dice, so everyone will get their own dice so that we don't get, like, we're COVID compliant. It's going to be a great day. So, you know how I expect things to be annotated, right? You can use highlighters if you want. You can underline if you prefer. But what I should see is you highlighting or underlining important things. And remember, I would like you to circle important words. So I would go ahead and make sure I'm circling the bolded words throughout here, like prophet, Allah, right? You're circling those and then underlining the definition. Remember, all of these vocab words are also vocab words that are on the board that you will have to know for your quiz. Okay. After you read and annotate, which you better do this first, the substitute should not see any Chromebooks out until you are done with this. Okay? Everybody got that? Feels weird being stern in a video. But then you have this posted to your Google Classroom, okay? So you're going to answer some questions. Look at this, kids. Oops. It says, I got to zoom out a little bit. It says, please answer the following questions in complete sentences and restate the question and the answer. Thank you. So you have 6 questions to answer about this, okay? A lot of this stuff you'll know, and hopefully if you did a good job annotating, it'll be really easy to find the answers to this. Last thing I wanted to talk about, this is a longer video than I intended. I posted this on November 3rd. It's November 9th. This is a Quizlet with all the vocabulary from this, the 3 chapters we're studying in Islam. Now, I understand that we have not done chapter 9 yet, but in trying to prepare yourself for the quiz we're going to take in a couple weeks, I would start studying this when you have free time. Now, I understand that I used to be a student, and if my teacher would have given me something to study way before, I probably wouldn't have done it. And guess what, guys? That was bad on me. I should have listened to my teacher. Also, it's Quizlet, okay? This is so easy. There's an app for your phone, okay? I used Quizlet on the test I just had to take. So I would just encourage you to start studying. I think the Learn feature is very great over here. So if you finish early today, I would say I would like you to either work on your homework or study the Quizlet. Those are your 2 options. That's it for me today. And I will see you on Thursday. Be good and email me if you have any questions.